up somehow. I'll keep moving on. I won't stop now. I'll keep moving on till I reach the top somehow. I'll keep moving on. I won't stop now. I'll keep moving on till I reach the top somehow. I'll keep moving on.
Yes, my Straight Talk family, you hear that theme song and you know that it is time for me to say greetings to the world. You know that it's time for me to say good night to St. Kitts and Nevis, and a pleasant, very pleasant night to the entire Caribbean region. To my Straight Talk family in the Kittitian and Nevision diaspora, we come to you and reach and communicate with you all over the globe. So my Straight Talk family, I'm at liberty to say good night. I'm at liberty to say good morning. And certainly I am at liberty to say good afternoon, because one of such greetings will be applicable to the region in which you now find yourselves. And we do have first-timers, and I thank all of my Straight Talk family who continue to share the link. Because when you do, we get first-timers. And for the first-timers, may I inform you that Straight Talk is a public service program that facilitates and promotes free, underline free expression on all issues of national, regional, and international issues, be they legal, be they environmental, be they technological, social, and or political issues. On Straight Talk, we do have a forum to express yourselves freely. Because on this program, we try to raise the level of national, regional, and international consciousness. We try to raise the level of national, regional, and international discourse by alerting our people to their rights, to their responsibilities, and certainly to their obligations. My name is Ian Patches Liebert, and I thank Almighty God for blessing me with the opportunity to join you in conversation on yet another occasion. I do apologize for my slight tardiness tonight, but I'll give you back your time if you so desire. You know I always do. But as your host, I will continue to pledge to remain an untiring advocate of truthfulness, because we are called to be God's prophets, and we must speak for the truth and right. We must stand firm for godly justice, and we must bring all those evil things to light. So let us seek the courage needed, our high calling to fulfill, that we all may know the blessing of the doing of God's will. So my Straight Talk family, especially you first timers, and for those who are with me all the time, I can reassure you that absolutely nothing is watered down on this program. We never try to make it more interesting, not by omission or exaggeration. Straight Talk is not about sensationalism. We are not about creating excitement, especially if that has to come at the expense of accuracy, because we always lead on the facts, as it is my duty, my bounden duty, to present what I call the unvarnished truth, the plain truth then, especially when it comes to governance, integrity, accountability. Here in St. Kitts and Nevis, or wherever we are on this globe, because this program joins us together with people across the Federation. We are joined with people in the diaspora all around the world. Some we know, and we know very, very well, and some we have met, some physically, some we have met spiritually. Some will agree with the positions of truth we advance every Monday and Thursday here on Straight Talk, and some will disagree, and that's understandable because we have a different people. So we entertain what I call a diversity of views, and that's fine. You can always disagree. We are not absolute in anything we do here, but please, it will sadden me if we ever become disagreeable. So in the interim, in the meantime, let's thank Almighty God for helping us to understand, oh, how good and how pleasant it is for brethren to dwell together in unity. Let us therefore hope and pray for that day when we will all sing his praise together. So welcome again, my people, and thanks for those who share the link. As you bring first timers, please continue to do so. May I remind the first timers, or inform the first timers, that Straight Talk is a participative program. By that I mean we include your calls and we include your emails. And if you're so minded, call in. The numbers are on your screens. There are some who like what I call the cloak of anonymity, and we give you access via our email platform, and that address is also on your screens. There are some who have access to Alexa. You know what to do. Just say, Alexa, play Massive Vibes Radio. And we continue to thank Massive for providing that access at a nominal cost. Some have made donations to support our efforts, and we are grateful for that. We say a big, big thank you. There are some who may wish to make donations, and they're not coming as anticipated, but that's life. It's a public service, and I am always happy to provide the service. But in the event you want to, there's a code on your screen. Just scan it. Very simple process, and you follow the instructions. It's highly confidential as well. Let's welcome our juniors, our Straight Talk Junior Brigade. I saw Tristan in the supermarket. How are you, Tristan, tonight? Tells me he still listens. He reminds his mom and his dad. How is young Dwayne? How is Shamar? Kevin? Rue? Jamal over there in Anguilla? Travis Traban, upon extension, how is your vacation going, brothers? Neymar, my grandson, and his good friend Saraya. I'm charged to hail them each time, else I'll be in trouble. Elizabeth, and that special lady in St. Louis, Carlo. Packard, are you ensuring you convince Madam to join you in watching Straight Talk? How is the Queen over there in Texas? Now, we normally have our observations in review, and our observations highlight the current issues. We do some reflection, we ask a few questions. And our observations in review, what's very important is what new we have learned as a people, because it's a learning process. And after our observations in review, we move to our thesis and tell you it's going to be an interesting one tonight. I have titled my thesis for tonight, Destiny Should Belong to the People and not the lady, not the leader, beg your pardon. And we start on a very sad note tonight, and we acknowledge the sad news of the passing, the unfortunate passing of Alison Bell, who has gone to the great beyond and has left to mourn her children, her sisters, Desdin Bernice and her brother Lindbergh, and a church community over there at Zion. We all know Alison, hard worker, always in every ministry of the church, and especially in the ministry of ushering, I think. And Straight Talk extends sincere condolences to her entire family and pray that her soul may rest in eternal peace. We also heard of the passing of Malcolm Solomon, who resided over there in Taylor's. We know Solo's mechanic. I haven't seen him for some time, but we understand he's gone to the great beyond as well. And he leaves to mourn his two children, Jared and Jovel Solomon. Also numerous sisters and brothers, including Verna and Pusky and all the Lewises and Richards family over there in Keon. And I will hasten to add that we can say anything. We'd like to say our profound sympathies, our condolences, and the list goes on. But Jimmy Cliff sang, "Who feels it knows it." And really only who feels the pain knows the pain, especially when it comes to our close relatives and friends as well. But all I can say, and hope it provides some comfort, as it did provide comfort for me when I lost my mom many years ago. An old guy put his hand on my shoulder and said, "Young man, death is a process." That has always stayed with me. So I want to pass it on to you who have lost loved ones, some I may not have heard of, but death is a process. So may the soul of our departed brother and sister rest in eternal peace. And our first observation tonight, my Straight Talk family, it's about the shipwreck. And we see Shipwreck has been destroyed. And I must commend DJ Morishaw, Jeffrey Morishaw, for his unwavering efforts to bring the plethora of injuries, I call them, and injustices that this Terrence Michael Jew administration has unleashed upon the people of St. Kitts and Nevis. Mauricio has been keeping us abreast with the development at South Friarsby, and in particular the demise of the local bars there like the Godfather and Shipwreck. And both have served with others for decades as anchors of tourism in St. Kitts, and I believe have already reserved their place in the annals of tourism in the Federation, my straight dog family.
People be saying right at all. See what going on, you know? You must send out everything, you know what I mean? The man freezer gun, everything like upon you. This ain't right, the man. You check it out. Right now we need to come out and talk because, hey, somebody do something wrong here. Let the man see the back going on, you know, plenty back going on, you ain't right. Everything ahead of the man place, they ain't right at all. Everything will go out, everything will go out. Generator gone, char farmer gone, everything gone. You think that right?
This is what got to be in the fridge.
Then my fridge thing will spoil up, you know what I mean? Anyway, the man suffer the man. The man suffer the man, the man do wrong.
Well,
the man fight down shipwreck, tell the man to fight down shipwreck.
well,
Something wrong to the place.
I am of the views about Shipwreck.
Yeah, because what? Char farmer gone, generator gone, they ain't wait, the man, they ain't wait at all the boss. You check? This ain't a good feeling, watch how the workers are out here. They ain't right, we can't work today, we can't make the money.
We're gonna stand above it. We're gonna stand up. We're gonna stand up of it.
You can't move up and away.
We're gonna stand top of it.
You see what the chef going in? Chef and the chef.
That's the chef.
That's the chef going, you see?
Your partner, when you leave, how long get food to
And
eat?
everyone know that the wrong with our
Your partner, it's food I come looking at.
Come look and that fight on the place, so. You think it's right? Yeah, right, they ain't right to call the boss, you see?
Lot of bread. Let me see the bread here.
See the bread there, you see? Plenty bread, you see what going on? Everything got to spoil.
Stop now, just take easy.
Yeah?
Stop and go easy.
See what going on?
Enough bread, enough bread,
Enough bread, better job.
enough thing a spoil.
Enough thing to spoil. Them man need to done them shit.
The monkey them hungry.
Everything hungry, everybody hungry.
You want bread?
Yes, get right there.
Me hungry them looking people to talk to. Yes, man, this is sad. This is sad. Very, very sad. This is a sad day for St. Kitts. Shot there for the tourism industry. And the workers. Yes, man, yeah.
And yes, my straight dog family, it's a sad day for St. Kitts. And if we just check TripAdvisor, and we'll find part of that story. But truth be told, this Ritz-Carlton issue is nothing new, as it originated 10 years ago or less or more under a team unity administration. The recommended solution back then in terms of relocation is no different now. But hindsight, it is said, is 2020 vision. And given the benefit of hindsight, I dare say the team unity administration, which I was part of, got it wrong. So too, the current Terence Michael Drew administration. And we cannot dispute the fact that two wrongs don't make a right. There must be a way to coexist instead of this heavy-handed destruction of people and property. Can it be incorporated as some guests come to see Shipwreck? Some guests come to see the monkeys, come to see the mongoose, my straight dog family.
But this ain't a time shock. I mean, as I said, people got bills to pay. People got children to feed. People want money. The local, the guests them, is not just affecting our locals. It's affecting the tourism. Because some of the guests them come here just to see Shipwreck, just to see the monkeys, the mongoose, everything here. I mean to say, they just come. This establishment was here over 25 years, and they just come and just push away to put a hotel.
Yes, my Street Dog family, you've heard it. And it's saddening to see in my country in the 21st century what's going on. So thank you, DJ Mauricio and belatedly Model Cup, for exposing this wicked government, this wicked Attorney General, and wicked Prime Minister. There cannot and must not be an absolute solution. Of course not. But our second observation, we move to the Fort Thomas Hotel. And construction there is going apace and around the clock it seems. But the citizens and residents of St. Kitts and Nevis have no clue what is going on. And local contractors are completely shut out of this project. They imported their own steel work, my Straight Dog family. They imported their own steel work. As you can glean from your screens, I showed you their own cement from Argos. And they brought in their own mobile batching unit as well, my Straight Dog family. But their own steelwork, their batching equipment, you see the trucks, all there. So there's absolutely no trickle down to the economy. And we wonder what's going on in the head of this incompetent leader and his cabinet. This developer brought their own laborers, which is bad, or must I say terrible, as they came with no special skills, my Straight Dog family. No special skills whatsoever. But even worse is the condition in which these workers, these imported workers, I should say, are forced to live. Who would believe this, my Straight Dog family? On the hotel side, the job site, some makeshift bathrooms you can see there. Makeshift bathrooms. And Straight Talk therefore asked Terence Michael Drew, who is the Minister of Health, where is the Environment and Health Department? Where are the environmental health officers, the EHOs, to ensure that physical environments where people work, they eat, and they live, but they must ensure they are safe, hygienic, and compliant with regulation, compliant with our laws? Don't these EHOs, environmental health officers, don't they inspect job sites, enforce safety laws, investigate health hazards, and promote public health through education? EHOs work primarily for government, and they have the power to issue improvement notices or close down the operations or initiate prosecution by Straight Dog family for violations. What is this? Imagine this going on in St. Kitts. Workers are imported. And look at how they are living on the job site. This, my Straight Dog family, is unacceptable. But only in St. Christopher and only under Terence Michael Drew administration. You understand? He wants to go to elections in May. But these are the things we have to look at, and we must punish them for their behavior. And our third observation, I must revert to Picanco. And the Bastille High School, like most of the capital projects announced by Terence Michael Drew, is, as they would tell us, on the way. But it is being constructed, we understand, or we were told, by a Bajan firm named Picanco. And Picanco has a name synonymous to confusion, like wage disputes with workers over conditions of work and payment of salaries and wages, my Straight Talk family. This is what we know about Picanco.
We are here at Picanco this morning where the workers have withdrawn their services. The workers have withdrawn their services because a number of promises made towards resolving the disputes here at Picanco have not advanced in the way that they would like or have not reached a conclusion. One of those main issues relates to the matter of wages and salaries, which are still under discussion. And unfortunately, in terms of the positions at the table, we've had situations where those positions have changed without any real discussion towards that. One of the principal things the guys are really fed up with is they, in good faith, returned to work the last time they stopped work under the condition that their matters would have been treated as matters of urgency. However, while the officials have worked towards this, the workers strongly believe that the company, in terms of its actions, whether it relates to fully resolving matters of health and safety, resolving matters of wages and salaries, resolving matters of equity and pay, have been lagging in terms of their response, and they do not believe that they should be required to provide services when their conditions remain outstanding and remain outstanding for as long as they have.
And Picanco, that name is synonymous to undeliverables, my Straight Talk family, like this one. Since 2024, you can glean from your screens that Mark Maloney, in this Barbados Today news item, under the caption, Hyatt Hotel to finally get underway, bring 1,500 jobs. And you see Mark Maloney there in the darkers. And it starts, my Straight Talk family, if you read to the top of on the center page, it says, the multi-million-dollar Hyatt Hotel project on the city's old waterfront is set to finally begin in January, generating 1,500 jobs and significantly bolstering the construction industry, according to the developer Mark Maloney. And don't read all, because this is from 2024. And in that penultimate paragraph, it says, hopefully, Mark Maloney says, within the next month, we will start that work. And he surely never kept hope alive. And I visited that site, my Straight Talk family, for those who know Barbados, down at Oistins there. And imagine that company that's in St. Kitts on the Barbados High School project. See, that site has been holding up for years. So this is what we have come to learn about Picanco, learn about Maloney. They don't deliver. And my Straight Talk family, they are also synonymous with poor quality as well, my Straight Talk family.
The Atlantic Breeze planned lifestyle development project here in Chancery Lane, Christchurch, was supposed to be the perfect opportunity for 267 middle-income earners to become homeowners. For more than half of the 52 homeowners in Phase 1, however, the experience has been nothing but a nightmare.
We have had reports from at least 32 of the homeowners reporting issues of recurring cracking to the concrete walls, recurring roof leaks, recurring floor issues in that the floor tiles are coming up. When the water is being turned on, people are finding leaks in their toilets, leaks in their showers, leaks in their sinks. So right away in a brand new home, these are all happening as soon as you move in.
As a result, several of the homeowners have formed an association in an effort to get the attention of the authorities. The project is a joint venture between government, who owns the land, and the developer Preconco Limited, owned by Mark Maloney.
And instead, my Street Dog family, instead of responding to the concerns of the homeowners, a threat was made by Maloney to sue CBS News, my Street Dog family.
And a home is a major investment.
These homes in Phase 1 range between $300,000 approximately and about $415,000. And we purchased this property with our retirement savings, hoping to come down. And the reason and the attraction for us to this development was the fact that they're new homes, right? So we thought, okay, we're getting a new home. We don't have to worry about repairs, about renovations. We can just come down. We can relax, enjoy our retirement. That's hardly been the case.
Within hours of attempting to contact the developer, Chief Executive Officer Mark Maloney, a letter from his lawyers was sent to this media house. Crystal Hoyt, CBC News.
That's trying to silence the media. Remember that the now known Barbados High School, the BHS, is a CBI project being constructed under an approved public benefit option, a PBO, whereby some 3,000 shares were also approved. Now, under the PBO option, the public benefit option, I should say, it was therefore expected that the government would hand the land over to Preconco, who in turn would sell those 3,000 shares, then build the school, and upon completion, it would hand over the capital asset to the government, to wit, the school. As I reported last week, following my trip to Barbados and after visiting the Preconco factory, I confirmed and will now reconfirm that during my visit, there were no piles and or no precast panels being manufactured for St. Kitts. Lest we forget that in December 2025, it was reported by the former Minister of Education, Sean Richards, that Preconco St. Kitts Limited was paid $27 million in contravention to the financing agreement under every public benefit option. When this continuing blatant corruption of Terence Michael Drew was exposed, his lying, sheepish response was that $27 million was a loan. And I provided that information with you before. So having been caught red-handed, they must pretend that some work is being done. So, Preconco, frantically, my Street Dog family, has decided to bring some old rusty steel from Barbados and put it on the site. I went there, my straight dog family, to the site, and I saw this old, rusty-looking steel on the site. You can see it on your screens. They are now pretending to be doing work at the site. But I reiterate that presently, and after my visit and tour of the Preconco factory, nothing is going on, my straight dog family. I went to the factory. There's a sign on entrance. And I can reconfirm, as I said earlier, nothing is being constructed in Barbados. And there were no precast panels, my straight dog family. No precast panels ready for shipment to St. Kitts. But on a subsequent program, Straight Talk will also address the required geotechnical work, also the environmental and social impact assessment that is required by law, my Straight Dog family. No environmental and social impact assessment that is required by law has been done. And there's no consultation. Under Team Unity Administration, there was consultation on the school. But in time, we will revert with this issue, this topic, and I'll provide another update for you. Our fourth observation, my Straight Dog family, relates to the performance of Terence Michael Jew as our first or our fourth Prime Minister. And his performance has so far been horrible, to put it mildly. And most will tell you that he's the worst thing that has happened to St. Kitts and Nevis since our independence, now 43 years ago. My grandmother used to, whom we call Mama, always forewarned us, my Straight Dog family. Mama always forewarned us. And I can hear Mama now. You go ahead. What you practice is what you're going to preach. And Terence Michael Jew has practiced for the past 3 going on to 4 years. Jew has practiced to lie at home. So not surprising, he'll also lies abroad.
Dr. Terence Drew, you are an embarrassment. The whole of St. Kitts and Nevis should be ashamed of you right now. I don't know you. I never met you. I didn't read about you. And all I know is that right now, so you lie.
So he has practiced to lie at home. So it's obvious he would lie abroad. Because Mama said, what you practice is what you're going to preach. And that's a known fact. Terence Michael Jew, as chairman of CARICOM, continues to be an embarrassment to every Kittitian and division, no matter where you are in this world today. Under his chairmanship, CARICOM has descended into chaos. Diplomacy, it is said, is underpinned by urgency. And for the chairman to take 1 month to notify Trinidad and Tobago of an issue is cause for concern. I'm not going to delve into the letters and the dirty linen that's been rolled out or hung out in the public. But Terence Michael Jew is known to be a liar at home, and now in regional and international circles, he has proven to be not only a pathological liar, but also to be grossly incompetent. While historically a patient, long-term process in modern diplomacy, one is forced to act quickly to address immediate threats such as the one facing CARICOM right now. And there's a need for crisis management and rapid response. The need to address these ominous warning signs in the stability and unity within CARICOM requires our leaders and our diplomats to act with urgency, balancing long-term goals with immediate intervention to prevent escalation. Furthermore, to ensure that CARICOM remains credible, or regains credibility, I should say, to ensure that CARICOM regains credibility, let me get that right, it may just require the resignation of the chairman, Terence Michael Drew, and the Secretary General, Dr. Carla Barnett. And Straight Talk supports both resignations on this basis.
I think it's a fiasco. It is a total fiasco. Because I think one of the main contributors should have a representative in the re-election of a Secretary General. If Trinidad and Tobago is contributing some 22% of the CARICOM budget, and they are re-electing a Secretary General, Trinidad and Tobago should have been present. Now they are saying that Trinidad and Tobago was invited and did not attend, and there is some controversy as to invitation. But I don't think such a decision could be made at a retreat. Those decisions are generally not made at a retreat. Okay, so I want to state that retreats are really to discuss, some other matters, but not to reappoint a Secretary General. So that's the first thing I want to say, that the reappointment of a Secretary General should take place at a heads of government meeting. All right. So if the Prime Minister can't be there, then a representative can legally be there according to the revised Treaty of Shagaramas. So that's one. Secondly, that has to be in the agenda. In fact, it has to be a priority item on the agenda, because it is a more significant item that has to be raised. I mean, and it's going into vote. So if it was not in the agenda and Trinidad and Tobago didn't know that was going to be done, they would not, there was no way that Secretary General could have been legitimately elected.
And that, my Straight Talk family, is obvious. Very, very obvious. But those are my observations for tonight. And I move right into my thesis, which I've titled, as mentioned earlier, Destiny should belong to the people and not the leader. And growing up as children, we were all taught that honesty is the best policy. Some of us were enticed into a profession called politics. And suddenly, a few lost that grounding. And this continues to unfold right before our very eyes in a man called Mark Anthony Graham Brantley, the Premier of Nevis, who confessed recently that he owes everything to Nevis.
That is why I'm passionate about what I do. Because I did not come to politics for self-aggrandizement. I didn't come for money. I didn't come to try to make something of myself. I came to see what little I could offer to advance this island that I love. That is why I'm here. And some people said to me, how you put up with all this? All these stupid people that say all kind of stupid things about you. How you put up with all that stupidness? And I said, I put up with it because I am committed to the people of Nevis, because I owe everything that I have, my life and everything in my life, to this little island of Nevis. That is why I'm passionate about what I do, because I did not come to politics for self-aggrandizement. I didn't come for money. I didn't come to try to make something of myself. I came to see what little I could offer to advance this island that I love. That is why I'm here. And some people said to me, how you put up with all this? All these stupid people that say all kind of stupid things about you. How you put up with all that stupidness? And I said, I put up with it because I am committed to the people of Nevis, because I owe everything that I have, my life and everything in my life, to this little island of Nevis. That is why I'm passionate about what I do, because I did not come to politics for self-aggrandizement. I didn't come for money. I didn't come to try to make something of myself. I came to see what little I could offer to advance this island that I love. That is why I'm here. And some people said to me, how you put up with all this? All these stupid people that say all kind of stupid things about you. How you put up with all that stupidness? And I said, I put up with it because I am committed to the people of Nevis, because I owe everything that I have, my life and everything in my life, to this little island of Nevis.
That was deliberate, my Straight Talk family. And forgive me. I wanted you to make certain that you were listening to Brantley, who many refer to as the well-fed child of Nevis, for several justifiable reasons. For example, he was the first beneficiary of the first ever Social Security scholarship that landed him in law school in Jamaica. And you can see that he was posted on their calendar. The Honorable Dr. Mark Brantley, an avid cook, it says, with a passion for food, is the current Premier of Nevis. Born in a humble family, Brantley's academic journey was made possible through our life-changing Susanna Lee High School scholarship. Premier Brantley has often expressed how pivotal the scholarship was in lifting him out of poverty. But from Brantley's own account, he did very well, my Straight Talk family. From Brantley's own account, he did exceptionally well. He told us this about his sojourn while in Jamaica. Remember this, my Straight Talk family?
When I graduated law school at the Norman Manley Law School in 1994, Mark Brantley from Henley Park and Brownhill was #1 in the Caribbean at Norman Manley Law School. And I went to Jamaica in 1994 and I graduated #1 in class. I got a certificate of merit. It was only the 4th time in the history of the Norman Manley Law School that a certificate of merit had been awarded. You know why I'm saying that? I am saying that because nobody could outsmart me.
Nobody can fool him. But Mark Anthony Graham Brantley believes that he can fool everybody. Upon his return home from studies in Jamaica, the first Premier and father of Nevis, Simeon Daniel, national hero of Nevis, took Mark by his hand, guided and nurtured this young graduate lawyer in the Simeon Daniel law firm. True to his words, nobody could fool me. Today, Mark is the only owner, the sole proprietor of Daniel Brantley and Associates. The second Premier, Vance Winkworth Amory, invited Mark to join the CCM. And again, true to his words, nobody could fool me. He connived to push Vance aside. Until today, Mark is the Premier of Nevis. Mark then set his eyes on St. Kitts, and just like he buttered up Vance, so too he buttered up Timothy. Timothy to Mark was the best thing that ever happened to Nevis. But true to his words, nobody could outsmart me. His final words to Timothy were, resolve or dissolve. Under the guise of a fair share for Nevis, Brantley caused the demise of Team Unity a coalition arrangement that was the express wish of the people, not the politicians. It was the express wish of the people of both St. Kitts and Nevis. Brantley convinced Sean, the leader of PAM, one of his coalition partners, that with CCM they can win the government. The people felt otherwise and spanked them, especially PAM. Spanked PAM. Back to the opposition, the people sent all of them. But nobody could outsmart me, according to Mark Brantley. So he grabbed the position of leader of His Majesty's loyal opposition and immediately formed an alliance with the ruling administration. For the past 4 years or just about that period, Mark Anthony Graham Brantley has acted like a government backbencher in his capacity as leader of His Majesty's loyal opposition. He enticed Jew to resolve that in spite of the legacy issues with geothermal, the geothermal resource in Nevis, he enticed Jew to fool him into believing that it was a federal resource, and as such, he secured a federal guarantee. Mark Brantley also enticed Terence Michael Drew to provide a federal guarantee for the millions of dollars needed for the expansion of the Vance Amory International Airport. All seemed to be going well, nice and dandy, when Mark Brantley launched his online gambling that rang a dangerous bell too loud to ignore my Straight Dog family. He rang a dangerous bell that was too loud to ignore. The man Mark Brantley handpicked, my Straight Dog family. The man Mark Brantley handpicked, called Nuri Katz. He handpicked Nuri Katz to manage this new development. This Russian Nuri Katz posted about their time in Spain. And Nuri Katz said this about Brantley, my Straight Dog family. He praised Brantley. Nuri Katz praised Brantley, my Straight Dog family, and made certain that he was very close to Brantley to ensure that this online gambling moves forward and moves forward with much haste. And yes, it did. And Nuri Katz, I can tell you, is well placed, my Straight Dog family. Nuri Katz is well placed with the Kremlin. Because Nuri Katz did in fact got the exposure. And if you read my Straight Dog family, what rang the alarm bell, a dangerous bell, if you look on the right-hand side of your screens, let's move down to line 9 of this article. Hybrid threat disguised as immigration in the context of Russia's full-scale war against Ukraine. But line 9 reads, Nuri Katz, a Canadian citizen, skillfully leverages his status as resident ambassador of Dominica to the Russian Federation and advisor to the Prime Minister of Dominica. His meeting with Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov and the presentation of credentials personally to Vladimir Putin are now not mere diplomatic protocol, but a demonstration of his role as the trusted figure in delicate geopolitical operations of the Kremlin. Katz actively promotes the interests of Russia and China in the Caribbean region, effectively turning island states into offshore platforms for Russian special services and corrupt schemes. These are the people that Mark Brantley is making his friends, real friends, my Straight Dog family. These are the people. And Mark Brantley, as I said, not afraid, because he's desperate. He's so desperate, my Straight Dog family, to get some money into the economy of Nevis. He doesn't care how. Not at all. He cares not how he gets this money, as long as he would be guided and is hidden behind that dark curtain, my Straight Dog family. Do not take your eyes off Brantley, my Straight Dog family. Brantley is not someone to play with. Brantley is dangerous. No matter what he says about what he owes to Nevis, Brantley is not someone to play with, my Straight Dog family. That's suffice to add tonight. Brantley, do not play with him. Do not play with Brantley, my Straight Dog family. This is what Nuri Katz said about Brantley. Very, very clear. When he went to Spain with Mark Brantley, he said this about Brantley. So good to spend time in Barcelona at ICE with the Honorable Mark Brantley. This is the danger we are facing with Mark in that seat. The latest devious plan was to develop a sustainable economic zone on the south coast of Nevis. Remember, Brantley first introduced it as the Southeast Peninsula 2.0. Meanwhile, Mark Brantley was meeting secretly with this crypto magnate on his luxury yacht in the Mediterranean by the Straight Dog family. He pretended he knew nothing what was going on. This is how he pretended. Soon thereafter, this crypto magnate incorporated a company in Nevis called Southwest Nevis Limited. The sole purpose of this company was to buy out the land of unsuspecting divisions. Of all the realtors, the only one selected was a company called 17 degrees, my Straight Talk family, which was exposed by the Win FM reporter.
We've been hearing a lot about 17 degrees north. What is the connection between 17 degrees north and the Nevis Island administration? Is it true that representative of 17 degrees north has been approaching landowners and residents in the area of Long Point to Butlers, trying to negotiate the sale of lands there? If yes, what is the reason?
17 degrees north. I have to smile because 17 degrees north is my wife's business. It's owned by Sharon M. Brantley. It is my wife's business, and she's entitled to have a business just as you are, and just as anybody else in this island is entitled to have a business. As I understand it, 17 degrees north is into real estate, buying and selling of real estate. I'm aware that there are investors who are looking at significant investments on the island. I'm aware that various investors are looking at investing on the island of Nevis. 17 degrees north has zero connection to the government. 17 degrees north is not involved with any government land. If I offer myself for elective office, I must say to my wife, who's had a business prior to me getting involved in politics, I'm sorry, darling, but you have to shut it down.
And later, my Straight Talk family, Brantley revealed that she was the go-between.
Developer is a company, as I believe it's called South Nevis Limited, and that company is working with my wife. So she's acting as a go-between between her client, who's the developer, and landowners, and asking if they're minded to sell their land.
And lo and behold, my Straight Talk family, then came the bombshell cloaked in the Special Sustainable Zone Authorization Act, which was tabled in Parliament by Terence Michael Drew and seconded by Mark Anthony Graham Brantley. Mark Brantley suddenly thereafter received a proposal for the first SEZ on Nevis called Destiny. Consultations were organized by Brantley and his CCM cabinet, but many questions up until now still remain unanswered. But nobody could outsmart me, Mark boasted, but Terence Michael Drew put him at the back of the bus.
When in Sinkers, the whole of Crystal Harbour went, and I never seen a placard and I never seen a protest. Right? That is the concern that I have, that there's a level of hypocrisy, I'm going to call it what it is. And there's a feeling in some quarters, and I will say it because it is true, that Nevis must stay to the back of the bus. But not while Mark Brantley is the Premier of Nevis. Not while I'm here. Because I don't belong in the back of no bus, and nobody in Nevis belongs in the back of the bus. We're equal citizens in this country, imbued with equal rights, like every other citizen, and the island must have the right to develop.
My Straight Talk family is left to Terence Michael Drew and his cabinet for him to approve a project where individuals and petitions cannot enter. We heard of Prospera. And it's up to Terence Michael Drew to expose this country to millions of dollars of liability. And Mark has said that he's gave this proposal to Terence Michael Drew long before any amendment. So my Straight Talk family, we wait with anxious ears and eyes to see what will happen. But Brantley, it seems, will remain at the back of the bus. For how long? We'll wait and see. Because Terence Michael Drew, as the current chairman of CARICOM, must give priority to the worst crisis this august body has faced in its 52-year-old history. So Mark will be at the back of the bus for some time, because Drew has his own problems with CARICOM. Furthermore, Terence Michael Drew and all of St. Kitts and Nevis have already weighed the benefits to be delivered from destiny. And these benefits will only trickle down into the Brantley household. The sole realtor, who stands to make millions and millions of dollars, some estimates over $100 million for fees and other services that will come after the sale of the lands. But my Straight Talk family, from destiny, nothing or everything will trickle down into the household of Brantley and not to the ordinary citizens and residents of St. Kitts and Nevis. And destiny should belong to the people and not to the leader. That's my story tonight, my Straight Talk family, and I am not going to change it. But I'll open the lines and entertain your calls and your emails. And if you're so minded, call in the numbers again on your screens. I always like to implore you that when I open the lines, and I'll do so momentarily, I anticipate that you will respect others. And of course, to achieve that, you must first respect yourselves. Let us try to be fair to all concerned. And let us, my Straight Talk family, ensure that the things we say and or do will be beneficial to all concerned. And in the process of saying and or doing those things, let us strive to build a kinder, gentler St. Kitts and Nevis. And my Straight Talk families, the lines are open. It's now 12 minutes after the 9 o'clock hour. And we are going as well to simultaneously take your emails, my family, so we can ensure we serve both platforms, my Straight Talk family. Perhaps I should first, my Straight Talk family, I should first take this email, which reads, "What an embarrassment. What a shame. Disgrace, deception, dishonesty, bluff, and misrepresentation." Let us be honest and call it exactly what it is. To be proclaimed that to the world that St. Kitts and Nevis is the first Caribbean nation to recognize Rastafarian faith in law is one of the biggest lies that has been uttered by Dr. Drew as Prime Minister. Thanks to the Jamaican minister who denounced the false claim and set the record straight. The minister was very diplomatic when she refuted Drew's false claim, albeit her response was clear and obvious. "Dr. Drew, you too darn lie. I wonder at times, why are we paying these several advisors such exorbitant monthly sums of money for misleading the Prime Minister with this erroneous information? I am happy to know, though, that the Caribbean and the world at large are listening and taking note of it, because it's taking place, of what is taking place, beg your pardon, in the Federation, reads this email. And my Straight Talk family, in the event you have just joined me, again, my Straight Talk family, let me state here, my Straight Talk family, our lines are open and we are looking at our thesis tonight, which I have titled my Straight Talk family, Destiny should belong to the people and not the leader. But let's go to the lines and we'll come back to that. Caller You are live. Hello, caller.
Mr. Straight Talk.
Mr. Straight to Abracadabra.
Abracadabra. How are you, my brother?
I am peaceful, my brother. Yourself?
What can I say, man? I'm peaceful, but I'm like a black bee. I try to carry the queen bee and ready to eat him up. Because I never hear. Well, let me say good evening to my people before I come to you. Good night, my lovely brother there in Bellevue and in St. George Reed and my brother Ellis. Good night, Texas Queen, our lovely sister. And good night, my lovely niece there in St. Louis and Sister Joan there in Lodge. I want you guys to have a wonderful time. We're gonna meet soon, man. Mr. Straight Talk, is the first time I have to call Mark Bradley. Mark Bradley get up there and say how he work for the people. If he was working for the people, the Alexander Hospital would have finished. If Mark Bradley was working for the people, he would have come out and say what's going on and get everything straight before going to the back bench. So now he gone to the back of the bus. Are you he want to call stupid now? Because nobody else bring nothing forth. I tell you that all the time. So now we come back and say people say how kind of stupidness. But you not say the stupidness like right thing you say. So now he recognize where he in. Understand? And he have to find a way out and he can't find a way out. So Mark Bradley, when he get up there and say he had done things because he want to do for the people of Nevis. Mark Bradley lie. He's lying. Because everything in Nevis is backwards. I thought saying it was backward, but Nevis is more backward. You've been saying all the time Mark Bradley not pay the social security for his people and nobody do nothing. So what more they want? Mr. Straight Talk, I think I get my answer from you and I'm going to leave you with that and just do what you got to do. You're doing a wonderful job and the people appreciate you. Just take care of yourself till I see you when I see you. Be good. Have fun doing what you're doing. Abracadabra. See you soon.
Abracadabra, my brother. See you when I see you. You know, my Straight Talk family, Mark Bradley said this.
That is why I'm passionate about what I do. Because I did not come to politics for self-aggrandizement. I didn't come for money. I didn't come to try to make something of myself. I came to see what little I could offer to advance this island that I love. That is why I'm here. And some people said to me, how you put up with all this? All these stupid people that say all kind of stupid things about you. How you put up with all that stupidness? And I said, I put up with it because I am committed to the people of Nevis, because I owe everything that I have, my life and everything in my life, to this little island of Nevis.
And he'll get my Straight Talk family over $100 million if, God forbid, this Destiny project moves forward. And that's just from his real estate or the real estate arrangements. It's Sharon Mama Brandt. The caller, thank you for holding you alive. Hello, caller.
Good night, Brother Patches.
Good night, sir. How art thou?
And I must say good night to all the listeners. Now, Patches, let's do some abstract here. And I'm going over to Nevis. From the beginning of this SSC, the landowners who would have to be participate in the land to be ready for the buyers. Here we have a liaison or the go-between. Here we have the premier, who is the husband to the liaison, the go-between. He claims that he don't have anything to do with that transaction. He claims it is his wife. Question: is my wife a part of me, or am I a part of the wife is part of the husband? What says you? As we go along, a little interaction. Are we one or are we separate?
Well, I treat it as a rhetorical question for now. Move on. You stopped me there, so I'll confess. It's rhetorical for now.
A husband and a wife,
Uh-huh.
not married, but
Join
a husband and a
together
wife
as one.
join together. So when you join together, you become twin or one.
Join together as one, they say, right?
Uh-huh.
What do you think?
So then, what would make you separate to whatever transaction in this vein that we are speaking about?
A divorce.
Okay, moving forward. Moving forward. The go-between, the liaison, is contacting the landowners to sell their land. Right? What is the buying price of whatever acreage or square feet from the land between the landowner and the go-between, the buyer? Because the buyer gonna then convert the land to the destiny. I stand for correction. Now, is the go-between will be making more money than the cost that the landowners selling for? Because here is it. Anticipation of income, capital gains is 100 million. I don't know if it's EC or US. I never heard the currency announced. But let's say I assume 100 million EC. Isn't that robbery? Because you're making a big profit of all the lands of all the transactions. What the owners would have been getting if should that transaction would have happened. That is a conniving job. I will leave it right there for others to think about it. I will come back again.
Thank you very much, my Street Dog family. Let's go to the line and thank this caller for holding. Caller, are you still there?
Patrice, good night.
Yes, Mr.
Patrice, good night.
Mr. Politics, how about thou, sir?
Oh, not too bad, not too bad. I'm just hanging in here listening to the program as usual. Now, Patrice, first I always want to give God thanks for life. And for my blessed Federation St. Kitts Nevis, a blessed country. And I believe that if we elect the right people to look over the face of our country, I believe we'll see more future for our young generation what's coming. I do not believe these who is that in government talking about young people. They have no love and no use for young people. That is. Everything that joke that promote young people. No, that is. Up to last night I was on a different program with Ellen Barrow. And I was telling him the same thing when Labour was campaigning in the last election. How they talk about marijuana and criticizing the farmer administration. The same thing about marijuana patches. I tell him that to lock up Nubian, right now the campaign and was talking about marijuana. Coming! To lock up Nubian, right? They give him some political strength as far as I concerned. Especially with the Rasta man them who get jail and get all kind of ailment from marijuana. You understand? So the man just talking patches and nothing improving. The food of the young people the last election and it look like this election is going to continue full of the young people again. And I tell the young people of this country now, stop, look and listen. Listen to people like me, Mr. Politics. Listen to people like Thatcher. Listen to people who going to bring the right thing to you all. I don't be a fool. These people should have guys when they were giving people clearance $500 a month, they changed it to $250. And that was turning over the economy, helping the economy. Right now, things that is. Everybody run all business places now. Some people tell me, but Mr. Scientific man, I got some customers for me now. Things ain't working out for the people of this country and this administration. Too much lie and money spending, and nobody knows money is spent. That is very wonderful. If I get back, I get back.
Thank you for your contribution. You mentioned elections. And Terence Michael Drew has advertised a national address for tomorrow. I've been saying to you for some time right here on Straight Talk that elections are nigh. What would you say if I said elections are expected in May, sometime next month? Caller, you're live.
Greetings, Mr. Patches.
Greetings, my brother, and how art thou?
I'm very good. What about you?
I am peaceful, my brother. I am peaceful.
I won't doubt you with what you just talk about election. I get the same vibes too concerning me, even before you announced that. So I won't be surprised.
Yes, it would be.
And it's good. I must commend you for the outstretched reach to get research firsthand to travel to Barbados. That was very, very good of you.
Thank you.
You continue to be good in that regard. Whenever conflict arises between material and spiritual values, the conscience plays an important role. And anyone who suffers from a guilty conscience is never free from this problem until he makes peace with his conscience. Mr. Patches, the question the lady asked Mr. Brantley concerning 17 degrees north. That's good you replay it again tonight. It was a very straightforward question, and the lady didn't ask Mr. Brantley nothing concerning his wife, you know.
No, that's true.
He further went on to answer the question, which he could have just answered from the first. So the question itself caught him a little off guard. That's why he said he had to smile. He's saying his commitment is for Nevis. But he was within a unity government, Mr. Laibot. He was within a unity government, was a foreign affairs minister. He get the best for Nevis out of a unity government. So, what commitment he talking about is for Nevis when he himself bring the government down. Imagine he got 3 seats and he wrangling with the leadership, but yet still he couldn't hold the unity government within office. That's what I find very good for Mr. Brantley. I agree with you also that the project in Nevis should belong to the people. But you see, if it was a government project, it would have been so. He always refer to Christopher Harbour, for what reason I don't know, when every government put concern about Christopher Harbour and the non-commitment at the development that they should have rendered to the government, tendered to the country. Mm-hmm. So I do not really know why on earth he keep referring to Christopher Harbour. One more thing to Mr. Laibot. In your observation pertaining shipwreck, what I realize in taking place in this country, you know, I know he had 2 former prime ministers still living, say he had person out there watching St. Kitts. And when I see what's going on in this country where you find the money citizens who people who become citizens because of money, are not naturally born citizens. The citizens who come, the persons who come citizens with money, they are the one who getting the power in this country, step by step, step by step, and it's coming, it becoming to be a little concern because of the decisions that is taking place in our country when it comes to development. And with the CARICOM, I mean, it's not good to hear person outside calling our prime minister a liar. I don't like to hear that. So this election coming up, Mr. Labour, gonna be a very interesting election. You know why? Because Dr. Chu saw first term, and he works his deal to be shown whatever it is of his first term. Dr. Timothy, he also has a first term, and his works also is there to show of his first term. So that would be the comparison the people have to take on in this election. Mr. Labour, you continue to stay strong, stay healthy. God bless.
God bless you as well. Thank you for your contribution. We go straight back to the lines, but as someone said to me, yes, as we move towards elections, someone said to me, seeing is believing. Don't be fooled by projects to come. You want to see the projects on the ground. Caller, thank you for holding. You are live.
Yes, Patches, man. How you doing tonight, man?
I am peaceful, my brother. Yourself?
Yeah, pretty good, man. Good night to you and the listeners. To add to that caller there, and to the saying that you just said, seeing is believing.
Yes.
So I go straight to that Barbados High School. You know, one cannot stay in St. Kitts and Nevis and see what's going on in Barbados. So I want to commend you for taking that trip. That was one part of last week's program that I believe I missed because I tuned in a little bit late. So I want to come back and commend you on taking that trip down there. You have ultimately exposed this government like you normally do, and we, the Straight Talk listeners, are thankful for that. With that said, our Prime Minister needs to come to the nation and say what's really going on with that Barbados High School, because it seems like a big fat lie has been told. Anyone in St. Kitts, like you did, you went up at the site and you do the due diligence, and you took the trip there, and you saw only some rotten steel some rusty steel on the premises. So the question to the persons or the citizens of St. Kitts and Nevis, did construction start on the Barstow High School? Patches, what your eyes see, you got to believe. Just that one issue alone, the government is duping the people, and the people can't fall for it. On the Nevis end, destiny should belong to the people. Anyhow, that was to come. The destiny, our destiny. We got to decide our own destiny. Patches, question: is it still a rumor about destiny, like that was said by the premier in that town hall meeting in Gingerland? The people of St. Kitts and Nevis, I don't know if they're waking up slowly, but we need to wake up. Thanks to Banky, DJ Marisher, the persons who were responsible for putting on that march on Nevis last Friday. I see that march as being a successful march. More to come. Patches, once upon a time I asked you to give me that call when the marches and the protest starts. But DJ Marisha has put on 5 protests
where he was on the mic, and then he did one today with some tape over his mouth. Silent protests. Very effective today. And to the Rastafarians, we see the policies of this administration continue to affect that group of citizens. And I would say to those persons, this is just an opinion coming from me. They can make a difference in the upcoming election, and they can make a difference with the policies that's affecting their daily lives. And I'll leave it there for now, Patches. Thanks a lot.
Thank you for your intervention. Well, it's coming soon. As we said that he's going to make an announcement tomorrow. But do not be fooled, my Straight Talk family. Do not be fooled by these promises. As I said, as someone said to me, and I concur, seeing is believing. Well, let's go back to the lines and I'll get back to that. Caller, you're live. Hello, caller.
Good evening, my husband. Good evening, Kalipan Ann.
Good evening, my dear. How art thou?
How are you?
I am peaceful. Yourself?
Oh, I'm blessed. I'm here listening to you, giving God thanks to see another night. Mr. Libel, could I ask a question? I heard you say something tonight.
I said many things.
I heard you say, yes, I heard you say something tonight. That will be very nice, and that will be good.
What's that? What I said?
About election.
Oh, yes.
That is very nice. I hope these people of Sinkis, I hope when they go to the police station and the Lord spare our life to see that day and that time and that hour. When they go to the police station, they go with one desire to get out this man.
Yes.
To get he and he cabal them out. Because since he gone in, I tell you, think it is in a mess, in a muck, and people out there bawling with the class of living in the supermarket. Oh my God, he hurting everybody's head. Toothman and Bagay, he hurting the head. To see so much of people in this country have so much confidence in this man and see what he bring. See what he bring to the people in Sinkit. Poverty. That's what he bring. He and he come by them. They don't care nothing about nobody in this country. They care about themselves and the family. His son have a big walk. And he got a load of people, children out there, present right now. Have the subject, pass so much a subject, and can't be in a job, can't get a good job. Look at that. The people of Sinkit is bawling, Mr. Loybod. There is bawling. The poor man feeling it. I don't know if it's actually sing the song or Elimat. But the poor man feeling it right present now in this country underneath this government here. Labor ain't no damn good. They ain't no good and they have to go. The people think it. Are you listen good, you know? Listen good tomorrow, God will to hear what you can talk and say. Are you get the read of him, you know? Get the read of him. And when they come by, are you get? Slap them in the face. And tell them go from all you get. They bring this country in a mess. This country is going good. And they need Dr. Timothy Harris. But they could talk wherever they want to talk about him. He going right back in there. The people they want him, they need him. And he going right back in there. But the real, I don't need something what to say, but God going to open up that door again for him. And he going to open up the way for him. And he going to open up the people's stomach and heart to put him back inside there. Because the see what him, Dr. Ju bring for the country in this place. The see what he bring. Corruption. Poorness to everybody in this country here. Lots of people are money time they don't have a good breakfast. They can't get the children them something good to eat. Wherever they give the children them, they tell them make out with that. And he by them. He and by them living good life. And the poor man who put them inside there to hell with them. You have a good night, Mr. Libod.
Have a good night as well, my dear. Come to think of it, my Straight Talk family, and let's be serious about this. Jew has. Let me take this call. I'll get back to the caller. Instead of having you holding, I'll take your call now. You're live. Hello?
A pleasant good evening to you.
Ah, good evening, my dear. How are you?
Oh,
I see.
I'm giving God thanks.
Yes, I see your dimples.
Yeah. How are you doing?
I am peaceful. I am peaceful.
Okay. But it's not according to this. You all think what you doing right now here is any surprise? I've been coming on top of you radio station all the time and telling you that lawyer is going to bring down Thesis and Nevis. And you see, it's going there. Because from before the man they ever get in office, he been loyal, and nobody seem to know the lawyer. But me, I see the lawyer. So I know that Thesis and Nevis would have fall with all these lawyers here, what he telling. If you're in a relationship and it's lawyer going on in here, you're going to have problems too. So it's the same thing with Thesis and Nevis right now. Too many lawyers are you say give them a chance because they're young. You see what young are do too? And more to come. Only a bit of smoke before they employ up as they are. And you're supposed to know what you next one mean. Have a pleasant good evening.
Have a pleasant evening as well, my dear. And yes, Terrence Michael Jew has been an embarrassment to every division and petition. And when you hear this about someone saying this about our Prime Minister, we can't feel good.
Dr. Terence Drew, you are an embarrassment. The whole of St. Kitts and Nevis should be ashamed of you right now. I don't know you. I never met you. I didn't read about you. And all I know is that right now, so you lie.
That's what he does best. But I was going to say, before I took that call, that examine the performance of Terence Michael Drew. He attempts to build the Basti High School. And what does he do? He decides to contract a Bayesian called Mark Maloney. And he builds some prefabs. He intends rather to build some prefab panels in Barbados. And that's 2/3 of the cost or the value of the project, this is my understanding, would be in that prefab material. So what he does, he literally sends the money to Barbados. He embarks upon the Robert Llewellyn Bradshaw airport expansion. And he gets another Barbadian company, CIDC. Why is he so in love with Barbados? Why can't he keep the money in the country and let it circulate, let it cascade, let it trickle down through the economy, let the grassroots economy start to thrive? That is so elementary. But no, Juice has a project and he sends it out to Barbados. And I go to Barbados, nothing is happening. But he wants to fool us because don't lose sight of the fact. St. Vincent has called elections, St. Lucia has called elections, and Barbados has called elections, Dominica is calling elections, Antigua and Barbuda is calling elections, the Bahamas are calling elections. So Jew is left in the cold because he's The only Reds left. So he will call elections too. But we must punish him in no uncertain terms. We just cannot put Joe back in office again. Impossible. Caller, thank you for holding your live. Hello, caller.
Mr. Baptist, good night.
Good night, Mr. Bibleman. How art thou?
I'm fine.
Someone told me they like to listen to the Bibleman, but they don't like when they don't like when he preach. They like to hear him read the scripture and provide those words, those passages of scripture, like the Psalms. Psalm 90, Psalm 46. God is our strength and our refuge. And
okay.
You want
Thank
to be this big preacher. Give us some inspiration with the verses in the Psalms. Yes, I'm sorry to cut you.
Thank you, Mr. Patrick.
Yes.
Now, thank you, Mr. Patrick. Psalm 41. Blessed is the man.
That's your favorite, eh? Who considered the poor, yes.
Blessed is the man that considereth the poor. In the time of trouble, the Lord shall deliver him. Now, in Psalm 37,
fret not thyself.
Fret not thyself because of evildoers.
Right.
Neither be envious against the workers of iniquity. Now we're going to Psalm 35.
Thanks.
Psalm 35.
That one stumped me. Go ahead.
Now here Psalm 35 says, and the second verse, take hold of thy shield and thy buckler and stand up for my help. Now I'm going to Psalm 34. I will bless the Lord all times. His praise shall continue in my mouth. My soul shall make a boast in the Lord. The humble shall hear it and be glad. Psalm 91. He that dwelleth
the secret place
in the secret place
of the
Most High
shall abide
on the shadow of thy mighty.
Yes.
Hey.
This is the word of the Lord. Thank you very much, my brother. Thank you very much. This is the word of the Lord. Thanks be to God. Yes.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. See you. Bye.
Thank you, my brother. That's the Bible man. That's what someone said to me. They like to hear, but you must just read the passage of scripture and provide the motivation instead of trying to preach, Mr. Bible man. But thank you. Thank you very much for your spiritual intervention. I do thank you profusely. But my Straight Talk family, for those who may have joined me late, I introduce my thesis tonight, which I titled, Destiny Should Belong to the People and Not to the Leader. This project Destiny, and someone raised the point about 17 degrees. But I'll get back to that so I don't keep this caller holding. Caller, you're live. Hello, caller.
That is good night again. Politics again.
Yes, sir.
That is amazing to hear Dr. Joe talk and criticizing the Dr. Harris about when the unity was in opposition, how they criticized the unity. When the grass was green and everybody was getting something, whether through the $500, whether through the peace program, whether through the STEPS program, because the peace program was under the unity government was doing well. A lot of these young men into their own business still patches. They're going and they do things different. Thinking that they're going to get it thing like before, but he ain't nothing like that. And he talking about the talking and blowing. And who he's staying and who it's told and all this kind of nonsense. Who was criticizing them, man and buttons? This country was doing well, the economy was turning over. And they went in there. They revamped the senior program, do everything like with it. You can't get the money, now, and you can't get the passport them, so look how they were selling them before and all these things. You understand, Patches? So I call in the people in the diaspora. Let me tell you something. People, if the election call tomorrow, we got to get rid of the Labour administration. Then for the people look at agriculture. Farmers down here suffering. Grown farmers and livestock farmers suffering. The Minister of Agriculture in the year know what doing. That is me not talk because of no politics. They talk because me love my country, me love my people. And me want to see the people survive. Me don't want to see people foreigners coming in, all kind of different people coming in, getting through, and we won't be backward. Because the election coming up, they're getting the passport and everything easy. They're getting easy job and all this kind of nonsense. Because they want them to vote into an election coming up. But if we can't afford that, this is our lovely sink it Nevis. We can't afford nobody come over and come into this country because we cannot go in the country and do it to them. Sure. Okay, then that is where we safe night. Okay. And Joel, good night. And good night to Mr. Welcome up there in the United States. Good night. And continue to make our contribution, man. How are you doing well?
Thank you very much. Patches reads this email. Caption 2 questions. 1. Please find out the progress of the Bastille Fire Station. Firemen were removed from the fire station 3 years ago and placed in the police training school, and to date they remain. Patches, who are you supporting for this upcoming election, and who do you think is the last or the best choice presently to represent St. Kitts as the new government? Certainly not Terence Drew. Caller, you're live. Hello, caller.
Yes, Patches, let me get right back in quickly, man.
Yes, all the time has gone.
You know, yeah, we grew up, right, where you said earlier, honesty is the best policy.
Yes.
You know, our parents instilled some great moral values in us.
Yep.
But as some of us become adults, those values got thrown out the window.
Yes.
Yes, it's not good. And we may not like it that our prime minister is being called a liar. But Patches, once a liar, always a liar. And like you said earlier, I think you mentioned something to the fact that, I don't know if it was in your thesis or your observations, but if you start lying over there, you're going to come over here and lie too.
Yes.
If you start lying at home, you're going to go on the international scene and you're going to go regional and internationally and lie too.
Yes.
Because just like how you think you're getting away with it at home, you're going to go on the international and the regional scene and think you're going to get away with it.
Mama used to
but
say...
once you step out...
Sorry.
Go right ahead.
Sorry.
No, go right ahead.
Mama used to say, where you practice, you preach.
Yes, all of those sayings, exactly. Yes. And let me repeat that. What you practice is what you're going to preach.
Yes.
Let me reiterate what you just said, because all of these sayings, man, we grew up with these things. And as we become adults, some of us throw those values out the window.
Yes. Unfortunately.
And this is why you see I'll be talking about that legislation that's going to deny those natural born citizens from putting their names on them ballots. They should have a chance to do just that, because the crop of the day is rotten. Patches, these guys don't got it here. They don't have no integrity. Man, I wish other people would be thinking and seeing what I'm saying, but it's just the support may not be there underground. But Patches, man, we in Sinkis and Nevis, we cannot stand for the people in the region and the international scene calling our Prime Minister a liar. So I'm going to appeal to the Labour executive and their stalwart supporters and their regular supporters. Take a look at your leader. That may not be the type of leader we need for our country. And I hope and pray, man, the electorates can see that when the next election is called. Patches, man, you have a good night, man. We have two men that got the country deadlocked, and both of them appears like all what they're doing is lying to the citizens. Patches, I'll leave it there, man. Have a good night.
Well said, my dear brother. Hey, Patches, reads this email. When we sell off those prime Nevis land plots, what will future generations get their hands on? That's the question in this email. This other email reads, Bah humbug. He can come now and pretend to be the most concerned citizen as he tries to fool people. I would like him to tell us how much we Nevisions have advanced with all his passion. And adding to the call who asks if the man and his wife are one, we say his wife is a politically exposed person, yes, a PEP, and that should be considered in all he does once it involves his wife's business. And it's insulting to listen to this man. No one ever asks him or his wife to exit from the real estate business. But with regard to this destiny matter, she needs to excuse herself. She can't be no go-between, reads this email. How come no one has come forward and admit that they have sold land for the Destiny project, reads this other email. Patches, do you know about these piles of cement bags all around Connery? I am so curious. This is so strange. What are we going to do with all these bags of cement? A very interesting question, my dear brother. As I go back to the lines, as we wind down tonight's program, and caller, you're live. Hello, caller.
Me again. Good night.
Good night. Good night.
But you see you showing some houses here.
So what?
No, houses where.
Houses? Are you there?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, you seem to be going and coming. Did you say houses?
Yes, so see you show up some houses and you think that tonight here. Some of them got in some cracks and whatnot. Let me tell you.
Yeah.
You go happen right here so too, because I noticed how when we got to church, the bus just passed up there when we passed the day up there, new road up there. Where you had some appeal. And one Sunday I passed and the foundation was just digging out. It was just digging out the foundation. And the next Sunday, when the bus passed back up there, the house ended up in here. So we're going to have problems with them. In the house, they told them how we taking them because they're not in time. So that's the reason they're hurrying up, but they ain't fixing. Just one thing, I know that they ain't fixing, so they don't have a problem. Whoever gets them, they're going.
Okay. Okay, that caller seems to be having some difficulty with that telephone, and we do apologize for the quality of that call. But as we wind down tonight's program, and for those who may have joined me late, we started a few minutes late. Our thesis we presented tonight, I've titled Destiny Should Belong to the People and Not the Leader. I made the point that growing up as children, we were all taught that honesty is the best policy. But some of us were enticed into a profession called politics. And suddenly, a few of us lost our grounding. And this I submit continues to unfold right before our very eyes in a man called Mark Anthony Graham Brantley, the Premier of Nevis, who confessed recently that he owes everything to Nevis. Do you believe what you hear?
That is why I'm passionate about what I do. Because I did not come to politics for self-aggrandizement. I didn't come for money. I didn't come to try to make something of myself. I came to see what little I could offer to advance this island that I love. That is why I'm here. And some people said to me, how you put up with all this? All these stupid people say all kind of stupid things about you. How you put up with all that stupidness? And I said, I put up with it because I am committed to the people of Nevis, because I owe everything that I have, my life and everything in my life, to this little island of Nevis.
Many refer to Brantley as a well-fit child of Nevis for several justifiable reasons. He was the first beneficiary of the first ever Social Security scholarship that landed him to law school. And he was very boastful about his sojourn in law school. And he said that nobody could outsmart him, nobody could fool me, was his words, my straight dog family. He said this, again, my straight dog family.
When I graduated law school at the Norman Manley Law School in 1994, Mark Brantley from Henley Park and Brownhill was #1 in the Caribbean at Norman Manley Law School. And I went to Jamaica in 1994 and I graduated #1 in class. I got a certificate of merit. It was only the 4th time in the history of the Norman Manley Law School that a certificate of merit had been awarded. You know why I'm saying that? I am saying that because nobody could outsmart me.
You know, the second Premier Vance Winkworth Amory invited Mark to join CCM, a devout secessionist. I may Vance Winkworth Amory rest in eternal peace. He did promise that someday he'll be on Straight Talk and we'll have a conversation about Brantley. But that was not to be. But Vance wanted to talk about Brantley, who connived to push him aside, that he can become premier. But he buttered up Van, so too he buttered up Timothy. Timothy to Mark was the best thing that ever happened to Nevis. He was the best prime minister. But true to his words, nobody could outsmart me. His final words to Timothy were resolve or dissolve. Under the guise of a fair share for Nevis, Brantley caused the demise of Team Unity, a coalition arrangement that was the express wish of the people of both St. Kitts and Nevis. He convinced Sean, the leader of PAM, one of the coalition partners, that with CCM they can win the government. The people told them otherwise and sent them back to the opposition. And for the past 4 years, just about, Brantley in opposition has been acting like a government backbencher. He enticed you to resolve that in spite of the legacy issues, the geothermal resource in Nevis was a federal resource, and as such he secured a federal grant, a guarantee, beg your pardon. So too, he secured a federal guarantee for the expansion of the Vance Amory International Airport. But my Straight Dog family, the latest devious plan was to develop a SEZ on the south coast of Nevis. But hear what? Who sold all the lands?
We've been hearing a lot about 17 degrees north. What is the connection between 17 degrees north and the Nevis Island administration? Is it true that representative of 17 degrees north has been approaching landowners and residents in the area of Long Point to Butlers, trying to negotiate the sale of lands there? If yes, what is the reason?
17 degrees north. I have to smile because 17 degrees north is my wife's business. It's owned by Sharon M. Brantley. It is my wife's business, and she's entitled to have a business just as you are, and just as anybody else in this island is entitled to have a business. As I understand it, 17 degrees north is into real estate, buying and selling of real estate. I'm aware that there are investors who are looking at significant investments on the island. I'm aware that various investors are looking at investing on the island of Nevis. 17 degrees north has zero connection to the government. 17 degrees north is not involved with any government land. If I offer myself for elective office, I must say to my wife, who's had a business prior to me getting involved in politics, I'm sorry, darling, but you have to shut it down.
Not at all. All she asks is about 17 degrees. You finally told us that 17 degrees and your wife Sharon Mama Brantley was the go-between the developer and the landowners. But nobody could outsmart me, according to Mark. He boasted. But Terence Michael Drew has for now put him to the back of the bus. My Straight Dog family. Right to the back of the bus.
When in St. Kitts, the whole of Crystal Harbour went. And I never seen a placard and I never seen a protest. Right? That is the concern that I have, that there's a level of hypocrisy, I'm going to call it what it is. And there's a feeling in some quarters, and I will say it because it is true, that Nevis must stay to the back of the bus. But not while Mark Brantley is the Premier of Nevis. Not while I'm here. Because I don't belong in the back of no bus, and nobody in Nevis belongs in the back of the bus. We're equal citizens in this country, imbued with equal rights, like every other citizen, and the island must have the right to develop.
But Brantley will remain at the back of the bus. how long we will wait and see. Because Terence Michael Drew has his own problems. As the current chairman of CARICOM, which he must give priority to the worst crisis this august body has faced in its 52-year-old history. Furthermore, Terence Michael Drew and all of St. Kitts and Nevis have already weighed the benefits to be derived from destiny and have already determined that the millions, and when I say millions, perhaps over $100 million, would trickle down into the Brantley household through Sharon Mama Brantley, and not to the ordinary citizens and residents of St. Kitts and Nevis. And destiny, my Straight Talk family, should belong to the people and not to the leader. And that's my story tonight, and I am not going to change it. I must thank Almighty God for guiding our conversation tonight as always. I must thank all of you who listen, my Straight Talk family. I thank all of you who called. Some of you sent emails. And for that, I am eternally grateful. And I must reassure you that those who called, those who sent emails, or those who just viewed or listened, you are the ones who make Straight Talk. And for that reason, I say a big, big thank you. Remember that whatever your mind conceive, that you will achieve. But first of all, you got to believe. So when you wake in the morning, thank God for the morning light and thank Him for taking you through the night. And until we connect on Thursday for another edition of Straight Talk, be good to yourselves and to all whom you meet. And again, remember, whatever your mind conceive, that you will achieve. But first of all, you got to believe. So until we connect on Thursday for another edition of Straight Talk, keep moving on. Bye-bye, my Straight Talk family.
When I wake in the morning, I thank God for the morning light. Give Him thanks and praises for taking me safely through the night. For the rest of food and loving care, and for my mother's breath of life that's got me here. So whatever my mind conceive, that I will achieve, you better believe, because I do the things I should, be to my brethren kind and good, the best I could. So I'll keep moving on, I won't stop now. I'll keep moving on, till I reach the top somehow. Down on my knees, to the Lord I kneel and pray, with my heart and soul, beg Him to take me through each day. My guardian to keep, and my guide, over every step I take, He will preside. So whatever my mind conceive, that I will achieve, you better believe, because I do the things I should, be to my brethren kind and good, the best till I reach the top somehow. Now I'm on my way with strength and courage from above. No man I'll fear, since God protects me with his love. Strong, pure and true, and so sincere, 'cause my knees I'll always stay to the Lord in prayer. So whatever my mind conceive that I will achieve, you better believe, because I do the things I should, be to my brethren kind and good, the best I could. So I'll keep moving on, I won't stop now. I'll keep moving on, I gotta reach the top somehow.